QF5k pump. Following maintenance instructions will be applicable for QF5k, QF5k-HT, QF5k-QCON. Please follow the safety guidelines to avoid risks and injuries. Please refer the manual for further safety guidelines for assembling and disassembling the pump. Following tools are required for assembling and disassembling the pump. Following items are available in the kit. Replacement of elastomers, diaphragms, valves, O-rings. Remove the screws. Hold the pump chamber while removing the screws for safety precaution. Remove the locking screw. Loosen the clamping ring screw. Remove the pump chamber. Place the pump chamber horizontally, so that there is no load on the connector ports. Remove the center screw. Remove the screws. Remove the screws from the clamping ring. Remove the clamping ring. Remove the diaphragm housing cover. Remove the diaphragm together with the diaphragm support. Unscrew the diaphragm support. Remove the valve plate along with the valves. Hold the valve plate to pull out the inlet and outlet valves. Use pliers to pull out the valves on both sides. While pulling out the valves, please be careful not to damage the surface of the valve plate. Remove the O-ring and profile O-ring. Flip the pump housing including the connector ports. Remove the screws from the connector ports. Remove the connector ports. Remove the O-rings. Mount the new O-rings. Mount the connector ports. Fasten the screws in crosswise sequence, with the torque of 10 Nm. Flip the pump housing including the connector ports. Mount the new O-ring and profile O-ring. Mount the valves on both sides of the valve plate. Use pliers to pull the mounting shaft of the valve through the valve plate on both sides. Cut off the valve mounting shaft with a side cutter at the marked position on the valve once inserted through the valve plate. Mount the valve plate along with the valves. Fasten the diaphragm support with new diaphragm. Make sure that the diaphragm is completely screwed on the thread, such that no gap exists between the diaphragm and the support. Mount the diaphragm together with the diaphragm support. Mount the diaphragm housing cover. Fasten the screws in crosswise sequence, with the torque of 10 Nm. Mount the clamping ring. Orientation of the clamping ring screw is important. Fasten the screws in crosswise sequence, with the torque of 6 Nm. Mount the pump chamber. Fasten the screws in crosswise sequence, with the torque of 35 Nm. Hold the pump chamber while fastening the screws for safety precaution. Fasten the clamping ring screw, with the torque of 18 Nm. Fasten the locking screw. Please refer the manual in the link given for the troubleshooting of the pump.
Quattroflow quaternary diaphragm pumps, the safe choice for critical biopharmaceutical transfer applications.
PSG, where innovation flows.